You're right guys, it's National Home Improvement Week, so I've teamed up with Mano Mano to bring you this project. Now I don't know about you, but in my room I've always got a bunch of chargers all around the sockets on the floor, and I've also got a collection of remotes that always end up on the floor as well. So I thought in this video I'll make a nice little side table kind of thing that I can store the remotes and incorporate power to. I hope you like it. The project begins with some 18mm plywood. These pieces will form a shallow box. Before we put the box together, we need to turn our attention to the top. The power socket will be housed in a pattress box, so with it centred 30mm away from the top edge, I'll trace round it. I also create some layout marks for where my remotes will be stored. These areas will be cut out with a jigsaw, so drilling some holes makes it easier to thread the blade through. Take it slow and steady with the jigsaw. It's always better to leave the lines because you can always remove more material if needed. It's much harder to put it back. With both areas cut out, sanding with 80 grit sandpaper smooths out the cuts and removes any sharp edges. The construction of the box is very basic. At this stage it's just a case of getting all the pieces in place and flush, then drilling pilot holes through the top into the sides and securing with some screws. The same for the bottom too. With the box together, the hole in the middle of the pattress box can be drilled through. This is where the power cable will feed through later. Some smaller screws secure the pattress box down too. The top of the box can be permanently fixed in place, so I removed it, added a bead of wood glue around the edge and then reattached the top with the screws. The bottom needs to be removable, so that stays as is with no wood glue. The screws on top get covered with wood filler. These will become near invisible when it's painted. I thought some nice curved legs would look great, so I printed off a template onto some self-adhesive paper and then cut them out using a jigsaw. Drilling the holes through for the screws makes the alignment much easier. Tracing round the legs in place and adding painter's tape will maintain bare wood after painting. This will allow wood glue to adhere properly. I gave all the pieces 3 coats of black paint. I only painted the inside of the legs though. I thought the plywood outer surface would be a nice contrast. As you can see, the tape worked great. The legs got 3 coats of lacquer on the outside face and edges before I drilled and countersinked the holes for the screws. Now the glue can be applied on the sides and the legs can be permanently attached. The countersunk holes get filled with black epoxy putty. I will make it flush later. At the moment the remote storage is still a hole, so I use spray adhesive to add felt to some plywood. It gets trimmed to size with scissors and then secured in place with screws. The pattress box sits flush with the surface, so to help obscure it I coloured the top edges black with permanent marker. It can then be secured in place. Now for the wiring. I had a black extension lead I could take the wire and plug from for this job. Using scissors to carefully cut through the outer shielding, I could slide it off and expose the live, neutral and earth wires inside. The socket I have is very well labelled, but always make sure to follow the wiring guide that comes with your socket. The sleeving on the smaller wires also needs to be removed, so I carefully cut through the sleeving, making sure not to damage the wire inside. This gave me about 6mm of exposed wire. Twisting the wire helps keep it neat and will give a better connection in the socket. I could then install the wires in the socket, brown to live, blue to neutral, and yellow-green to earth. These are the standard colour arrangement, but always follow the wiring instructions for your socket. The socket I have has concealed screws, so the front panel pops off to reveal them. Before securing the socket to the pattress box, I made sure to run the cable through the hole down at the side of the pattress box. This will prevent the wires from getting pulled out. Now the socket can be screwed into place and the front panel popped back on. After I plug in the power, I can test it out. The USB ports will save me needing a separate charger all the time. The 2 power ports work great too. All that's left to do on this one is pare off the black epoxy and sand it flush. A quick spray of lacquer finished them off nicely, and this is the finished piece. I really hope you like it. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. It's going to be really useful. So this is the end result. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I've got plenty of space for all my remote controls and even putting my phone as well when I want to. Got the built-in power. These USBs are going to be great for charging my phone, my iPad and different stuff like that. But especially having the 3-pin plugs as well, I can charge other devices like my camera batteries, plugging in a Hoover, plugging in lights. It's just really easy and it doesn't all get collected up against the wall as it was before. So I really hope you like this one. It could be incorporated into an existing piece of furniture. If you've already got a bedside table, you could create a little notch for your remotes, cut out, put in a pattress box, wire it up. Nice and simple. I made this design. I really like the legs actually, and being small it can tuck underneath my bed if I wanted it out of the way. Of course, go wild with the design. I'd love to see what you come up with. Thanks again to Mano Mano for making this project possible. There's a link down in the description to all of their social media and the website as well. Make sure you go and check them out and really helping out this great community. So thank you again guys for making this possible. I'll leave some links up on the screen now as well to some other projects I've done that you might find useful. Before I go, if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications as well. That way you'll get a notification as soon as I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching.